Greetings, people. It's Jared here, Wolfgang One, back to do another Transform review. So, this is the last part of the six-part Terrorcon series. We've gone through each of the questionable team limb members. We covered Hunger last week and his stupid fucking name, and this week it's the final piece. This is the combined form of all five members. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the review for Generation 1 Abominus.
Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go. We are now going to assemble the final combined mode. Here they are, ladies and gentlemen. The Terrorcons striking fear and terror into the hearts of absolutely no one since 1987. We are going to begin the process of trying to make something of them. Because let's face it, on their own, they're a bit shit. So we are going to start with the legs, I believe. Okay, so let's get rid of every other cunt just here. And you, and get rid of all the things that we don't need for this process just here. We'll put those in the front of the camera where you can't see them. There we go. So the legs for this process are going to be Cinder Twin, would be nice if you focus, thank you very much, and Cutthroat. Okay, like in the two-headed lizard and the fucking chicken bot that I definitely can't unsee. And we're going to start with chicken tits just here. So I've not really left myself a lot of room to do this, weirdly enough, but we'll make the best of a bad situation, because let's face it, that's exactly what the Terrorcons are. This is the best you're going to get out of me, ladies and gentlemen. So let's begin by pretty much focusing the fucking thing. Oh, you son of a bitch. Because Cutthroat is so awful to look at, my camera won't even focus. Chicken. Right, so we are going to transform him into a leg. Okay, now that involves pretty much transforming him to robot mode. So again, back go the wings. Out go this. Back go the chicken legs. Bring down the chicken head. But then we are going to collapse him into himself. Just like that, okay? And then stick him on the foot plate with the corresponding port and post mechanism, just like every other G1 combiner. Let's make sure, is that the left? Yeah, that's the left. Right. So what will happen is, because he's a G1 combiner, his head will form the connector to Hunger's torso thing in a bit. So that's one piece of shit taken care of. We are then going to move on to Cinder Twin, and basically exactly the same process, transforming pretty much to robot and then collapse him back in on himself. So let's get rid of all this shit. Let's get rid of that. Just like that. It's a shame that, because I like to lock it into place, but by doing that, you can't actually collapse the robot. So that's entirely on me, ladies and gentlemen. So do that. And then it's just going to have to be a piece of shit just like this. Okay, so that on both sides. Connect him to the right foot plate, just like this. Okay, and then that is that done. We're now going to move on to the arms. So we've got Ripper Snapper here. Let's do Ripper Snapper. So pretty much just involves transforming him again to robot mode. Let's take the head back. Let's split him apart just like that. Fold that up. Let's put his shitty little monster arms down. Let's bring these legs back up like this. And then bring his head down, as his head will be the connector to Hunger's body. And then stick the fist in his bottom, just like that. I wish I'd have found a better way to say that. Never mind. That is hopefully on camera. If not, I wasn't really paying attention, because I have zoned out once or twice doing these reviews. And that's basically one arm done like that. We are now going to move on to this festering horse's dick just here, Blot. And I'm going to do my best with this one, because it's well, I mean, the alt mode and the robot mode is a mess, and the overall combined mode form for the arm is a mess as well. So we want to separate it just like this. we want to get that up like that, and then so we can bring the head out a little bit. There we go. I'm very, very tempted to actually, do that to give him a little bit of reach. Bring these monster arms just up like this. I bet none of this is on camera because I'm fucking focusing on doing other things. Bring the shitty little monster legs up just like this. That'll be the head for the connector, and then fist him, and that is the left arm for Abominus. I mean, look at that. What the fuck are you supposed to even think about that? That is fucking piss weak, ladies and gentlemen. But there we are. You know, it's only my humble opinion, but considering I'm the one doing these reviews for entertainment, I would say that my opinion is the one that's worth most merit. So we are now going to transform Hunger into the torso. Again, involves just basically transforming the fucker. Again, this comes back like this. These legs to the back, just like that. Actually, these arms are supposed to go back. Are they supposed to go back? Hold on. No, this section here is supposed to go back. Just like that, on both sides. Okay. And then that does that. And then basically the legs, separate them like this. Bring them down again at the knee. At the knee, you fucker. And then bring the monster heads forward. And that right there will be Abominus's torso. Just sorry, my light's in the way here. I mean, anyone who's expecting a semi-professional, decent review, you should know better by now, ladies and gentlemen. So that is the torso, basically. And now what we're going to do is take a sip of vodka and Coke. The good stuff. Bring the light out a little bit, just like this, so I can bring this back a little bit. Ignore how shit the background is. And we are going to start putting limbs on. Okay, so as I said, these heads connectors will form just in these points just here. Okay, same with any other Scramble City type combiner. One goes in there. The other goes in there. Supposedly. Get your head up there. There we are. And that is... Oh, Christ. That is that. Decent light would have been nice. And then we are going to start attaching the arms. So one arm, again, connector goes into the port just there. There's one. And then festering horse's dick will go in the other one. That's pretty loose, but whatever. And that's mostly the combined form done. Now what we need to do is start attaching the combined parts. So we're going to take the shield for Hunger, and then with these two posts, we're going to put them into those two ports on Hunger's chest, like that. And then finally, this will sit on Hunger's head. Give him the weapon, or give it to Sinner Twin, not Sinner Twin, Rippersnapper, the other shit one. And ladies and gentlemen, in all his highly, highly, highly dubious glory, there we go, focus, you know you want to. That right there is Abominus. Now, there we go. Now, he is... I'm not exactly sure where to start with this. It ramps up pretty quickly, doesn't it? It goes from very, very uninspiring to, oh, Jesus Christ, okay, that's evidently garish, and almost comes out of nowhere. He's one of those combiners. I mean, Devastator, sort of every one of them has to go in a particular place. The Stunticons combine mode, while sort of successful, still looks a little bit awkward and everything. But this one here, until you've actually put it all together, you have no idea how he's going to look. And the end result is, I don't know exactly how to say it. Quite often, I think, what the fuck? Mostly because none of the individual team members look anything like each other. Well, again, I guess none of them do really in any Scramble City team. But this one is such a mismatch of like sort of designs and ideas and everything like that. I'd say this is the most Frankenstein monstery since the original 6-part Devastator. And what I was saying about the head in particular, I'm going to try and bring the camera up for this so you've got a pretty good idea what I mean. The head is just a little too big for everything that's going on. It doesn't help that Blot here is a stumpy arm. This one is slightly better, I guess. These two have got their own particular thing going on. A very, very interesting crutch plate just here, showing you where the action is, pointing down below. And the head is just a fraction too big for everything else that's going on. If the head had been scaled down a little bit, I don't think I'd have such a massive issue with the combine mode, even though the combine mode is the epitome of what the fuck. It's the head, whereas having like sort of great detail and having the eyes painted and like sort of the head sculpt's got detail, it's at the same time really, really quite noticeable that it's the largest. It's a bit too big. Oh Christ! I can't even fucking get the camera to settle in a particular place now. So yeah, it's yeah. I mean, what do you say? What do you say about that? I appreciate, because Scramble City Combiners. I think him and Computron were the last of this format. Actually, no, Piranhacon was the last of this format. And again, he's got massive head syndrome as well. If one day I ever do the Seacons, I'll show you exactly what I mean. He's just got a massive head, absolutely massive fucking noggin, and you can't get away from it. The thing I'd say that lets the combine mode down overall, if you can ignore the size of the noggin, is Blot's arm mode. Blot's arm mode looks like a growth that maybe you would consult a doctor to have surgically removed. It compared to all the other Terrorcon monster sort of things, he's the one that looks the most out of place. And I'm saying that considering Abominus has got a walking piranha for an arm. Blot is the one again that lets himself down, lets the team down, lets the whole thing down. Quite frankly, it's Blot that is the main issue, apart from the massive noggin. So, ladies and gentlemen, that right there was my attempt at reviewing Generation 1 Abominus. He's there is something quite fitting in the name, really, isn't there? Because that is an absolute fucking eyesore. An abomination through and through, if you will. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this review of the 6-part review of the G1 Terrorcons. I do hope you enjoyed this. We're getting very, very close to our 100th review since I started my reviews again, and like in a new format and everything like that. We are just 3 weeks away from review 100. I've got an idea of what I'm going to do for that. Sadly, it's not going to be Fort Max, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm having fucking trouble getting Abominus on the camera here. Fort Max is just I'd have to find an entirely different way of reviewing him. So he's not coming anytime soon, so don't get excited. But I do have something planned for the 100th, which I will be able to pour a certain amount of admiration and love over. Sadly, admiration and love is not something that I can easily bestow upon this creature. So thank you for watching this review. This is Gerard Gavin Barry, also known as Wolfgang1, saying I will be back next week with another review. There's other stuff coming on the channel. I keep saying that, but it is going to happen eventually. And when it does happen, I guarantee you will all be surprised that I actually kept my word. So do leave a like, comment, subscribe, do all the things that I never ever think to tell people to do, and I will be back next week with more fucking hilarity such as this. Until then, take care.
And when tomorrow comes, I feel you laying by me, like you ain't got nowhere else to go.